UFP, the United Federation of Podcasts.
To all who listen to this happy podcast, this is Mickey's Marvels on United Federation of Podcasts. You can contact the network at contact@ufp.earth, on Twitter at UFPearth, and on Facebook. I'm your host, Magic. Joined with me, as always, is my good friend Tribz. Tribz! Tribz! Hey, Tribz! Uh-oh. It looks like he went through a special door. We must go find him. But we're in luck. We have a special guest today. And that special guest is Michael. Michael, how are you doing?
Good.
That's it? You're just going to say good?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, for those of you who are listening to this maybe for the first time and you didn't notice, that's the voice that does the news entrance and the movie entrance. It's my son, Michael, and he's going to be covering a very special movie. Would you like to tell him what movie we're covering today?
The Nightmare Before Christmas.
And why are we covering that today?
Because it's almost Halloween.
That's right. Now, me and Tribz are going to cover this in long-form detail later on between Halloween and Christmas, but scheduling conflicts, Tribz and I couldn't get on mic together, so we're going to drop this one as like a supplemental just to fill the time so you don't miss an episode here. So me and Michael are going to just talk about his favorite things. I don't really have much news, so let's get into that real quick.
Get your news here. Hear all about it.
So for the news portion today, the only thing I really have to report is that Verizon Wireless customers will get a year free of Disney Plus when it releases on the 12th. If you have Verizon Wireless Unlimited, if you have Verizon Internet or Verizon Cable, there's ways to get the free year. The other thing that happened at the parks recently was that the Skyliner, which had a massive failure, had a minor failure this time with the ADA entrance at one of the locations to load on, broke down, and the car wouldn't transfer back onto the regular cables, so they had to shut it down. It's really the problems with this system are starting to pile up, and that's not really good, but at least this was just a minor incident. Nobody was hurt again. Nobody even was in risk of getting hurt this time, so that's a plus. So with that said, let's get on to the movie.
Get your popcorn. Get your drink. The movie's about to start.
So, Michael, what's your favorite part of Nightmare Before Christmas?
I think my favorite part is when Jack Skeleton is when he's not really the skeleton yet, when he's like the scarecrow, and then he jumps into the like poison thing.
All right, so why don't you tell some people what are the memorable scenes from the movie for you?
Like which ones?
Whatever you think is the best. What you think people would want to know about the movie.
I think one of the best scenes is when they introduced the Oogie Boogie Man.
Okay, what do you like about Oogie Boogie Man?
I like how he always gets when he like his victims, they always get snake eyes, like no matter what.
Okay. So do you like the costumes that they used, that Tim Burton used on this movie? Like the way he costumed out so that everyone in Halloween Town kind of had this gory, goofy, not goofy, but spooky kind of look. Like Oogie Boogie Man's like a bunch of pillowcases kind of sewn together with burlap sacks. Like, do you like that about this movie?
Yeah, I like that about this movie, and I actually think that when the Oogie Boogie Man, when Jack finally defeats him, I just wanted to say like that it was an amazing scene that they had to put in this movie. All
right, so what was so amazing about that scene?
We see that Jack is very like flexible, because in that scene we can see him crouching like a spider.
Okay. All right, so you like the way Jack goes about beating him?
Yes. Even when in the scene when he's standing on the guns and then the sword comes in, it's just amazing how they made that scene.
Okay. Now, do you think? Let's see. Do you think that a Halloween king, like the Pumpkin King, taking over Christmas would be a good idea?
Yeah, I think it is because pumpkins are the closest thing to Halloween that Disney probably thought, and I agree with them. I agree with the makers of this movie.
No, I don't mean that. I mean, would you want to see a Halloween Christmas?
Yes.
Oh, you
I
do?
Would. Yes. I
So
would.
you don't want Santa Claus, you want Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the listeners who haven't seen this movie, explain to them about the movie. What is this movie really about?
Well, you see, in this movie, it takes place in mostly Halloween, but it transfers once to Christmas Town.
Oh, well, explain to the listener. What does that mean?
There's a bunch. So Jack Skeleton went wandering off once, and he kept on walking for about a couple of miles, and he walks into the 6 or how many holiday doors there are, and so he sees many doors, and then he sees the one that looks like a tree. He goes through that one. Then there's a big song going on, like, what's this?
Do you like that song, the What's This song?
Yes.
What about all this? Do you like the songs in this movie?
Yes.
Okay, you can elaborate.
That's your point.
All right. So now he sees Christmas. Now what does he want to do?
He wants to tell all the other people in Halloween Town. And so he tells the mayor. Well, he didn't tell the mayor actually what he saw. He said we should get like a town meeting. So, and he's like, when? The mayor's like, when? And then he's like, immediately.
Yeah. So the idea is here he's going to take over Halloween and or take over Christmas and make it more Halloween-ish, right? So what he wants to do is he wants to be Santa Claus. He doesn't want to be the King of Pumpkins anymore.
I agree with you. When he said he never said that he wanted to take over Christmas. He said that he wanted to be Santa Claus for 1 year. And he said that anyone should get to be Santa Claus. Not anyone, indeed. Me, of course, he said.
Yes. So he said it shouldn't just be anyone who can take over, just him himself, right? And then he starts enlisting the help of all the people to come up with better toys because they think kids' toys are kind of dopey and dumb, right? So instead of a crying baby, they're going to have a ghoulish baby. And instead of treats, they're going to get tricks, right, for Christmas? And that's the kind of Christmas you want.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, so we can make that happen, Michael. We can give you bad presents.
No!
All right, so keep telling the listeners what you liked about the movie.
My favorite part, one of my second favorite parts is maybe when, if you have seen the movie, then you would know what I'm going to talk about. My favorite part was when they go into the graveyard or the pumpkin patch, and he walks up like I forget what it's called, and then it turns down, and that's when he starts walking off.
Oh, you're talking about like the big hill that's curled over, that opens back up as he's walking up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that part too. That's also like the title sequence. Like that's what people think of when they think of that movie, is that scene, that silhouette.
That's basically the main scene, or almost the main scene.
Right. So now, okay, besides just individual scenes, did you like the theme of the movie itself?
I loved the theme of itself, just how well it was created.
Okay. Now, all right, so now who does he send to go get Santa Claus?
He sends like 3 the best trick-or-treaters. I forget their names.
Okay, and do they succeed at first?
No, they bring the Easter Bunny.
Yeah, and that wasn't who they were looking for, right?
No, they didn't even know who that was at the time because they don't know other holidays.
Right. So So Jack has to say to him, no, you went through the wrong door. And then they go back for Santa Claus. Now, how does Sally factor in all this? Does she agree with Jack, or is she telling him... What is Sally telling Jack?
She's saying that his Christmas is wrong, and it's not supposed to happen.
You're right, absolutely. And as she's trying... what I love about that scene is when she's trying to explain to him that this isn't wrong, this isn't right, he thinks she's saying that her making the costume isn't right. Even though what she's really saying is stealing the holiday isn't right. Yes,
and I want to tell you a fact about Sally. When she was earlier, she used to be a witch, and they accused her for being a witch. Then she got killed, and fun fact, that's how she can tell his Christmas was gonna be not successful.
So, did they say that in the movie?
No.
So where'd you learn that?
There was a video on YouTube. Maybe you can see it. It's called How They Died, Part 1.
Okay. So that's not actually Disney canon, then. That's someone's theory.
Just wanted to point that out.
Okay. So you buy into that theory, though?
Yes.
That she was a witch, and that's how she could tell? Or maybe she's just smart enough to know that Santa Claus should run Christmas and Jack should run Halloween.
Or maybe we're both wrong. Maybe there's another theory out there we don't know.
That's possible. The listeners can get back to us if they have a theory as to how this all came to be and how Jack and everyone else came to be. Because they do mention in the movie that they are dead.
Yes, they are dead. They're definitely not alive.
Yeah, so it's not just... These aren't just characters that are alive and they look like Halloween characters. They actually mention in the movie, though, that they're dead, and that's why they're in Halloween Town.
Yeah, or else they would probably be in Christmas Town working as some tiny elf.
Okay, so do you think that Halloween Town is heaven?
Maybe.
You know, maybe that's like kind of like the afterlife in Tim Burton's universe, and so that's how he works that out. But what other scenes do you want to talk about in the movie?
I want to talk about the scene when they think Jack Skeleton is dead, but he's really not, and the mayor said that Jack Skeleton has been blown to smithereens.
Okay, so what about that scene?
When that happens, Sally and Santa Claus are with the Oogie Boogie Man, and he basically captured them and was about to put them in lava. And Sally said that he won't get away, the Oogie Boogie Man will not get away with it. And then they heard the news that Jack has been blown to smithereens. And after that happened, Jack came by and saved them, and Oogie Boogie Man was surprised and said, "They said you were dead. That means you're double dead."
Yeah, so it's just another reference to the fact that they're already dead. But so that is a good scene. I remember that scene well, and it is a good one that they work it out that way, that Oogie Boogie Man actually thinks Jack's out of the picture and all hope is lost. But then Jack comes in and saves the day anyway, showing that the reason why Jack is stealing Christmas is not because he's bad. It's just because he wanted to have a joyous holiday for his own. But I want to circle back real quick. One of the coolest characters, I think, in this movie is the mayor. What's the one thing about that mayor that's different than everybody else?
There's two sides of his head. One is like happy side, and then the other's like what's going on, or mad, happy, mad, sad.
Right. So the one side is this happy, joyous face, and the other one is kind of skeleton colored, and it's always when he's having a bad emotion. So there's a good side and a bad side. Well, go ahead.
I want to talk about a scene that happened in the movie with this, when he turns his head twice. So he was going to go tell Jack the new plans for next Halloween. So he rings the doorbell once. No, he's not there. Nothing happens. He rings it again. Nothing happens. He switches his face. He knocks on the door. He turns his face back.